Chosen one. There are spiritual laws that govern the lives of the chosen, laws not written in books, not passed down by tradition, but etched into your soul before you were even aware of your calling. These laws don't bend for your feelings. They don't pause for convenience. They don't negotiate with comfort. They are fixed, unshakable, eternal. And when you violate them, even unknowingly, everything around you begins to collapse. Your peace disappears. Your power leaks. Your alignment shatters. That's how you know you've broken a law that was never meant to be broken. Chosen ones walk with purpose, and purpose cannot thrive in chaos. There's a spiritual structure that holds your gift, your voice, your vision. And the most sacred law you must honor is this: protect your energy above all. Everything begins and ends with energy. Your thoughts create reality. Your words shape direction. Your emotions magnetize results. You're not like everyone else. What you allow multiplies. What you entertain expands. What you tolerate becomes your truth. This is why you must be disciplined in what you accept, what you engage, and what you carry. Before we go deeper, watch this message all the way to the end. This isn't just information, it's activation. This message is a vibration, and if it resonates with your spirit, drop your warmest wishes in the comments and type 144 to align with the frequency of manifestation. Words are energy. Wishes are power. When you speak them, you create. When you feel them, you attract. And when you release them, the universe listens. Now, chosen one, show your light by liking this video and subscribe to the channel. And let's step into this together. Right now, listen closely. As a chosen one, your life is not your own. You are not free to live casually, think aimlessly, speak carelessly, or move recklessly. Your energy is a divine instrument. Your thoughts are not random. Your emotions are not harmless. Your words are not empty. Every vibration you emit is a command to the universe. Every moment you engage with lower frequencies, you forfeit your position in the higher realm. This is the law. Do not lower your frequency for the comfort of others or the convenience of ego. You were not chosen because you are perfect. You were chosen because you're aware. Aware of your energy. Aware of your power. Aware of the divine hand on your life. But awareness alone isn't enough. Discipline is what sustains the gift. Alignment is what activates it. And obedience to the law, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable, is what keeps your anointing intact. There will always be something trying to pull you out of alignment. Distraction, conflict, comparison, temptation. These are not random. These are tests, sent to see if you'll break the law, if you'll trade your clarity for chaos, if you'll exchange your elevation for emotional reactions. But you can't afford that. Not now, not ever. Because once you awaken to your calling, the cost of disobedience is too high. You lose time, you lose peace, you lose momentum. You feel it instantly. That's how sensitive your spirit has become. This is the burden and the blessing of being chosen. You feel what others ignore. You sense what others suppress. You're tuned in to the frequency of truth, and truth requires order. This means you can't go where everyone goes. You can't speak how everyone speaks. You can't think like the world thinks. You are being governed by a higher law, one that demands purity of heart, clarity of mind, and consistency of spirit. And when you honor this law, everything shifts. Manifestation becomes effortless. Direction becomes clear. Battles that once drained you disappear before they even begin. Why? Because when your energy is pure, your authority is undeniable. You no longer chase. You attract. You no longer explain. You embody. You no longer perform. You become. But the moment you step out of this alignment, the moment you entertain chaos, gossip, fear, jealousy, doubt, the law reacts. The flow stops. The peace fades. The vision blurs. And you find yourself asking, why does it feel like everything is falling apart? It's simple. You broke the law. You abandoned your post. You allowed something unworthy into your sacred space. And now, your energy is paying the price. This is not punishment. It's correction. It's a reminder to return. Return to stillness. Return to clarity. Return to the truth that your presence is a portal, and portals don't open for just anything. You are not accessible to everything. You are not available for disorder. You are not here to participate in cycles that diminish your divine assignment. The world will try to convince you that boundaries are selfish, that spiritual discipline is rigid, that separation is pride. But they don't understand what's at stake. You're not just protecting your peace, you're protecting your position, your clarity, your vibration, your divine access. And without that, you lose everything. So here is the law, once more. Guard your energy as if it were your life. Because it is. This means you don't argue with confusion. You don't explain yourself to chaos. You don't plead for understanding from people committed to misunderstanding. You move in silence. You speak with purpose. You connect with intention. And you withdraw when your soul starts whispering, This is not safe." The chosen ones are warriors of the unseen, architects of the energetic. And if you are to fulfill the mission on your life, you must master the law, not through force, but through flow, not through fear, but through faith. This is only the beginning. Once you begin to understand spiritual law, you realize that most of your suffering doesn't come from being weak. It comes from being out of alignment. For chosen ones, that misalignment doesn't look like obvious failure. It looks like small compromises, quiet tolerances, silent agreements with energies you were never meant to entertain. That's how it starts. Not with a loud fall, but with a subtle drift. And before you know it, you've made a home in the very frequency you were sent to rise above. Everything changes the moment you understand. Your energy is not neutral. It is either building or breaking. You're either in flow or in friction. As a chosen one, there is no in-between. You cannot live halfway aligned and expect full blessings. You cannot compromise your vibration and wonder why the doors stopped opening. The universe is not punishing you. It's mirroring you, reflecting your frequency, responding to your energy. And when you start leaking that energy through emotional reactions, through constant comparison, through people-pleasing and spiritual laziness, you feel it. You don't just lose time, you lose access. You lose your seat at tables designed for your higher self. And what you tolerate in the present begins to quietly rob your future. This is why chosen ones are pulled back, why you'll suddenly feel the urge to disconnect, to go quiet, to clean your space, to fast, to pray, to listen. That's not random. That's your higher self dragging you back into alignment before you drift too far. The law is not angry with you, it's anchoring you. But it can only work for you if you listen, if you obey, if you stop playing with the energies that dilute your power. Let this be clear. You can't hold divine authority in one hand and entertain drama with the other. You can't speak light and feast on gossip. You can't walk in truth and build relationships on lies. You can't command the room with presence and still seek validation from those who don't value your voice. That split frequency cancels your power. It clouds your clarity, and the law will not support it. When your inner world is out of order, your outer world reflects that. And for the chosen, there is no hiding. What others can get away with, you cannot. What others can survive, you will feel instantly. Why? Because you're marked. You're called. You're carrying a frequency that demands accountability. So when people ask why you're so strict with your boundaries, why you guard your time, your energy, your space, why you no longer answer certain calls, entertain certain conversations, or show up in old environments, the answer is simple. I can't afford to break the law. Not because I'm afraid of punishment, but because I'm committed to power. The more you evolve, the quieter your world becomes. Because elevation requires focus, and focus requires protection. You don't need a crowd, you need clarity. You don't need constant connection, you need divine instruction. And those downloads don't come through noise, they come in stillness, through obedience, through energetic purity. The spiritual law of the chosen is about cause and effect. You vibrate low, your results follow. You stay in confusion, your clarity hides. You tolerate chaos, your peace vanishes. But when you honor the law, when you stay aligned, disciplined, clear, the flow is unstoppable. The doors open without knocking. The right people find you. The path lights up. The signs guide you. And most of all, you feel it. That inner confirmation, that peace that passes logic, that stillness that silences doubt, that clarity that clears every voice but truth. That is the reward for obeying the law. And it is worth everything you had to release to get there. Now, some of you are feeling the shift already. You've been sensing what you need to let go of. You've been feeling uncomfortable in certain rooms. You've been wrestling with attachments that no longer serve you. This is not confusion. This is divine correction. Your spirit is warning you. Don't break the law. Don't drift. Don't shrink. Don't go back. Every time you lower your energy for approval, you're rejecting your assignment. Every time you ignore your intuition for convenience, you are forfeiting your alignment. Every time you stay connected to someone your spirit outgrew, you're delaying the manifestation that's already been prepared for you. This path is not easy, but it is necessary, because you weren't sent here to blend in. You were sent to break patterns, to shift the atmosphere, to walk in such spiritual integrity that people feel something when you enter the room, and not because of what you say, but because of what you carry. And what you carry is sacred. So let this be your reminder. This is not about being perfect. It's about being present. Present with your energy. Present with your choices. Present with your alignment. The law isn't here to punish you, it's here to protect you, to preserve your power, to shield your path. And the more you honor it, the more unshakable you become. You're not just protecting your energy, you're protecting your future, your legacy, your soul's assignment. And that kind of purpose cannot be approached casually. It must be guarded, cultivated, and lived with deep spiritual awareness. Stay obedient to the frequency. Stay faithful to your inner compass. Stay locked in on your divine truth. You are chosen, and the law is your sacred shield. You've probably noticed something. The more spiritually aligned you become, the more sensitive you are to energy. You walk into a room and feel the heaviness before anyone speaks. You hear the words, but you sense the truth underneath them. You can't fake it anymore, not with yourself, not with others. Because when you're truly chosen, your spirit no longer allows you to stay in places your soul has outgrown. That's the effect of keeping the law. The divine law doesn't just teach you how to live, it teaches you how to see, with clarity, with precision, with authority. And when you break that law, your vision clouds. Suddenly you doubt yourself again. You question your calling. You start looking for answers in people instead of going inward. And that is exactly how you lose your power. You were never meant to be led by opinion. You were meant to be led by frequency. Truth speaks quietly, and only those disciplined in spirit can hear it. That's why stillness matters so much. That's why noise is dangerous. Because the louder the world gets, the harder it is to recognize your own voice. And if the enemy can't destroy you, he'll distract you. If he can't block your blessing, he'll try to confuse your energy. But confusion is a sign. It means something is out of order. Something has breached the law. It could be a conversation you entertained when your spirit said no. It could be a habit you slipped back into when you knew better. It could be a thought pattern you fed, even though it didn't match your vision. These aren't small things. For the chosen one, everything is spiritual. Nothing is random. And the price of disobedience is always energy loss. This is the divine law. You must honor your energy like sacred fire. Because that's what it is. Fire to burn through lies, fire to ignite others, fire to walk with purpose. And if you play with that fire, if you allow the wrong people near it, if you forget who you are and why you're here, you don't just lose your flame, you risk burning down everything you've built. So, how do you stay in alignment? How do you make sure you're not breaking the law? You stay in truth. That means you speak when your spirit tells you. You rest when your body signals you. You walk away when your peace is threatened. You fast from distractions. You meditate on clarity. You check your energy before checking your phone. You stop reacting from emotion and start responding from spirit. You understand that not every situation deserves your light. Not every person gets your presence. Not every call deserves to be answered. Why? Because when you are called, you are watched. Spiritually, energetically. The moment your vibration shifts, everything around you adjusts. You can't even post online without it carrying your frequency. That's how powerful you are. And when you respect that power, divine favor finds you. Doors open before you knock. Opportunities land in your lap. People cross your path as answers to prayers you haven't spoken aloud. Because when you are aligned with the law, the universe obeys you. Not because you're special, but because you are in tune. But step out of alignment, and you'll feel it. Fast. That gut feeling returns. Your sleep is disturbed. Your motivation dips. Synchronicities disappear. People around you get agitated. It's not coincidence, it's feedback. Your soul is speaking. And if you ignore it long enough, your spirit goes quiet. Don't let that happen. Don't normalize spiritual dullness. Don't treat divine discomfort like just another bad day. Your emotions are messengers. Your body is a compass. Your energy is a signal. And the law is the operating system running beneath it all. When you honor it, you rise. When you dishonor it, you sink. It's not about punishment, it's about alignment. And alignment is everything. Your gifts function best when you're centered. Your clarity sharpens when you're present. Your manifestation accelerates when your thoughts, words, and actions all match. That is the formula. That is the flow. But the moment you gossip, the moment you spiral into doubt, the moment you let fear drive the car, you've stepped out of law. And the results always reflect that. Your creativity stops. Your energy crashes. You start attracting chaos. And then you wonder why nothing is working. It's simple. You broke the law, not a rule of man, a law of energy. And the only way back is through discipline. That means taking full ownership of your vibration, not just in public, but in private. It means watching what you say when no one's around. It means protecting your thoughts from envy and fear. It means praying when you're tired, fasting when you're confused, retreating when your peace is on the line. You don't get to move like the world. You're governed differently, called higher, set apart. And if you forget that, the spiritual consequences are immediate. Not to punish, but to wake you up. So wake up. This is your reminder. Don't break the law. Stay in alignment. Move in silence and protect your peace. Command your energy. Speak truth even when it's hard. And most of all, live as if your soul depends on it. Because it does. You see, the weight of being chosen isn't just in the calling. It's in the consequences. Not because you're being punished, but because when you're chosen, everything that happens to you is either moving you toward your purpose or pulling you away from it. And the moment you step out of alignment with the law, you begin to feel distance, not from people, but from your power. When you break this law, you don't get struck by lightning. You just get lost. You wake up and your fire is dimmed. Your clarity is gone. Your path that once felt obvious now feels foggy. That's what spiritual disconnection looks like. Not a dramatic collapse, but a subtle fading of who you really are. You start compromising in small ways, answering calls you shouldn't, agreeing to meet when your spirit says no, staying in energy that drains you just because it's familiar. And little by little, you start forgetting your authority, your vision, your mission, not because it disappeared, but because you let noise in. This is how chosen ones break the law, not through rebellion, but through neglect, through the quiet moments of self-betrayal, through that one more text you shouldn't have answered, that one more fear-based thought you allowed to loop in your mind, that one more piece of gossip you laughed at when you should have gone silent. And the universe? It's watching, not to punish you, but to mirror you. That's the law. The law of energy is exact. It's precise. You can't fake it. You can't perform for it. You can't manipulate it. What you are, what you feel, what you truly believe, it reflects back to you with perfect consistency. So when things start falling apart, don't just blame the external. Look within. Ask yourself, where did I break the law? Where did I betray my own boundaries? Where did I trade presence for performance? Where did I choose comfort over clarity? Because the moment you get honest, the healing begins. The moment you realign, the energy flows again. The vision sharpens, The peace returns. The favor finds you. Not because you begged for it, but because you became it again. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you are. And the law is simply here to help you stay true to that identity. But here's what no one tells you. Staying in alignment takes courage. Because when you commit to this level of spiritual integrity, you will lose people. You will be misunderstood. You will be called distant, cold, too deep, too serious. But none of that will matter, because you're not living for comfort anymore. You're living for clarity. And clarity comes at a price. It means walking away from conversations that feel familiar but lead nowhere. It means not responding to energies that want access but don't carry respect. It means declining opportunities that would boost your ego but dim your soul. This is what walking in divine law looks like. Not just spiritual talk, but spiritual structure. You wake up with intention. You move with focus. You speak with purpose. You pray not because it's ritual, but because it's maintenance. You meditate not to impress anyone, but to stay connected to Source. Your life is your altar, and your decisions are the offerings. So you stop treating your energy casually. You stop showing up halfway. You stop giving time to what isn't feeding your vision. Because now, you know what it costs when you don't. One moment of misalignment can take weeks to recover from. One wrong decision can block a blessing. One moment of disobedience can delay your destiny. That's how sacred your path is. That's how sharp the law is. But it's not fear that drives you. It's reverence, deep respect for who you are, for what you carry, for the one who called you. You didn't choose this life chose you. And now you walk differently because of it. You protect your mornings, you monitor your mind, you cleanse your space, you trust your intuition. You distance yourself from anything that smells like confusion. Not because you're paranoid, but because your peace is priceless. You see, spiritual maturity isn't about always feeling good. It's about always being aware, even in discomfort, even in uncertainty, even when your emotions say one thing but your soul says another. You choose the soul. Every time. That's alignment. That's obedience. That's what keeps the law intact. You begin to realize that the more you obey, the less you need to force. You don't beg anymore. You don't chase. You don't over-explain. You simply attract. You radiate. You align. And the things meant for you begin to move toward you, effortlessly. Because when you follow the law follows you. It guards your name. It shields your mission. It clears your path. It corrects your steps. And it pulls you back every time you drift too far. This is why you can't play with your energy. This is why you don't have the luxury of just winging it. You have too much at stake, too much vision to manifest, too much light to carry. So honor the law, not just today, but daily. Let it lead your thoughts. Let it shape your habits. Let it discipline your mind, because the life you want, the freedom you crave, the spiritual power you've been praying for, it doesn't come through effort. It comes through alignment. And alignment is born through law. When you obey the divine law, things begin to happen that logic can't explain. Doors open that no man could open. Battles end before they even begin. What would have taken others years begins to manifest in months, even days, for you. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's divine acceleration. The chosen don't operate on the world's timeline. You move by spiritual principle. And when you move in perfect harmony with the law, you step into a dimension where time bends, favor finds, and clarity flows like water. It's not about hustle. It's about alignment. It's not about striving. It's about flow. This is the secret the world doesn't understand, that real power comes from obedience. Not to people, not to trends, not to validation, but to the sacred law written in your soul. When you listen to that voice, that inner pull, that divine compass, your life becomes a masterpiece of divine order. What used to exhaust you now feels effortless. What once confused you now feels obvious. The right people find you. The wrong ones fall away, effortlessly. Because when you're aligned with law, you no longer have to chase. You attract. You no longer have to explain. You embody. You no longer have to prove. You exist in truth. And that, chosen one, is your greatest power, your embodiment of law. You become a walking vibration of divine authority. You shift atmospheres without saying a word. Your presence speaks before you do. And the reason you can't break the law is because what you carry is not just for you. It's for generations. You're not here for approval. You're here for impact. The chosen are not loud by force. They are loud in frequency. And the higher your frequency, the less you can afford to drop it. Every compromise costs you access. Every distraction delays destiny. Every misstep leads to energy loss. That's why this isn't just a message. It's a reminder of your responsibility. The moment you forget the law, you forget your identity. You forget that you weren't built to follow trends. You were built to lead dimensions. You weren't born to imitate. You were born to initiate. And when you lose that awareness, everything starts to feel off. You feel disconnected. You start questioning your worth. But all of that can be traced back to one thing. You stopped listening. You stopped listening to your inner guidance. You stopped honoring your intuition. You stopped obeying the law. And now, this message is here to bring you back. Back to order. Back to clarity. Back to authority. Because when a chosen one is out of alignment, the entire energetic field around them feels it. That's how powerful your vibration is. You're not just managing your own energy, you're influencing atmospheres, communities, even timelines. This is why you can't play with your calling. This is why you can't dip in and out of alignment. You either live this or you don't. And if you do, then know this: everything will be demanded of you, not out of cruelty, but because the magnitude of your destiny requires the full integrity of your soul. But let me remind you, the reward is unmatched. When you walk in spiritual law, you gain clarity beyond your years. You attract divine connections without manipulation. You step into rooms you didn't ask for. You gain peace that can't be explained. And even when the world shakes, you remain unbothered. Because your foundation is not external. You live in truth. You walk with light. You move in power. And that power? It's magnetic. It draws what is yours. It repels what is not. It protects you without words. It blesses you without begging. That's what obedience to divine law creates. But remember, it's a daily decision. Every day you wake up, the world will try to pull you out of alignment. You'll be tempted to react, to explain, to perform, to prove. But don't. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your peace. You don't have to justify your boundaries. You don't need permission to walk in sacred rhythm. Just stay obedient, stay aligned, stay grounded in the law. Because in this final stretch of your spiritual evolution, your obedience will determine everything. Not your past, not your name, not your followers, not your appearance, just one thing, your alignment with the law. So protect your energy, protect your vision, protect your frequency. Because the next level of your life is not about effort, it's about energetic accuracy. And when you're accurate with the law, nothing can stop you. You've come too far to forget who you are. Too many battles won. Too many nights survived. Too much wisdom earned. So now, more than ever, it's time to stay true, to remember what you carry, to protect your peace like it's the gateway to your purpose. Because it is. The law is not just a rule, it's your rhythm. It's the structure that holds your power. And when you live by it, everything falls into place. Without force, without fear, this world will keep pulling at your attention. But the chosen don't chase noise, they follow alignment. The chosen don't panic, they trust divine order. So keep your eyes forward, your energy clean, your decisions sharp. Let others question your silence. Let them misunderstand your distance. Let them wonder why you move the way you move. You're not here to be understood. You're here to stay aligned. Because once you break the law, you break the flow. And chosen ones don't have time for chaos. Stay obedient. Stay grounded. Stay chosen. And above all, don't break the law. Your future depends on it. And now it begins.